Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the universe, welcome back to episode 23 of the Neutral Lens podcast. Another week is in the rearview mirror, and I got 3 more topics for us to discuss today, so let's get into it. Before I begin, real quick though, if you have any questions you want answered or topics you want discussed, as always, hit me up at Neutral Lens Pod on all socials. I'll get to it in a future episode. Alright, here we go. So, our first topic, we have a woman. She's 24. She's been living with her mom since she was 14 when her mom and dad divorced. And she's wondering, should she reconnect with her dad now that, it's been 10 years? So the answer, honestly, is it depends. Like, what was your relationship with your father like? What was your mom's relationship with your father like? What happened to cause the divorce? Was she doing something? Was he doing something? Was it a, cheating situation? Was it a manipulation? Abuse? Because if it's something where like manipulation or abuse, then no, you should not reconnect with him. There is a significant chance, in my opinion, that he'll just do it again to you instead of your mom this time. Or maybe it was to you before and he's just going to do it again to to gain favor with you, to turn you against your mom. I don't know what it is. But if it's something along those lines, then yeah, I would be very careful. I assume it's not, because otherwise I don't think you'd ask that question. So if it was more of an amicable split, then if you miss him, if you feel like he was a big part of your life that you're kind of missing, yeah, reach out to him. Probably a good idea. At the end of the day, he is your father, and you only have one, really. You can have stepdads, you can have father-in-law, but it never really feels the same as blood relatives, and you only have one. So if it is a situation where you feel like he could fill a void that you have in your life, then yeah, I would reach out to him. If there was an amicable split or it wasn't anything crazy, then go ahead. But if you don't have any lingering feelings or you don't have any want to see him, then what is the point, honestly? If you feel like you're doing just fine in your life without him, then clearly he never really had a big enough impact for you to need to see him again. Yes, he is your father. Like I just said, blood relatives, there's nothing like it. But if he hasn't played a significant enough role in your life, then he hasn't done his job well as a father to you, for you to feel the urge to see him again, for you to feel the urge to create memories with him again. Especially, for example, if he just disappeared after the divorce, he's never once texted you, he's never talked to you, he's never tried to reach out, give you gifts, do whatever fathers do, then yeah, you should, if you feel fine, then what is the point of reaching out to him? He's done nothing to take care of you, and you're his daughter. So it's not your job to try and go reach out to him. Honestly, it's not. If he's been checking in on you and stuff, then sure, you can reach out. But I assume that at that point you haven't really lost connection. But just trust your feelings. Again, if you're in a situation where you feel like you are missing that extra love and you miss it and you want it, and he's not a bad person, then go ahead and reach out to him. But if there wasn't a great split and you're taking your mom's side on the whole situation, I assume you love your mom and everything's good there, then no, don't reach out to your dad. He's just gonna do stuff to you again, most likely. I mean, maybe he won't, but maybe he will, and I don't think you want to take that chance, especially if it caused a whole divorce, or if he was so such a distant presence in your life that you really don't miss him. Why reach out to him? Why? I genuinely don't see the point, just because, yes, again, like I said earlier, he is a blood relative, and you can't really replace those. But if they weren't a big part of your life, then why? It's if you had cousins. Maybe my culture or my experience growing up is different from us, because I know a lot of American families, these big Thanksgiving gatherings, and everyone's together, your cousins and whatever. To me, it's never really been like that, So maybe I have a different viewpoint of it, But I've never seen it as a thing where you need to maintain connection with your family at all costs. If they're good to you or you miss them, then yes, that is a great thing to have. But if they were never a big part of your life, I don't see the point in reaching out to him or trying to get him back in any way, because he never did his job to take care of you. He never did his job to try and reach out and make sure that you're doing okay. So he doesn't care and he's moved on with his life. Why are you trying to go after him? You know what I'm saying? There should be a mutual feeling there. And if there's not in this family, then I wouldn't do it. So that's just my opinion. All right, let's go to the next topic. So we're going to go back into the realm of sports and competition, but we're actually going to talk about something different. We're going to talk about which mistake is the deciding one, in the sense that most people kind of see the last mistake made as the one that was the deciding factor. They say like, oh, the game was tied, or you were down a score and you choked it or you blew it, or the game was tied and you made a fatal error and the opponent scored and you lose the game. And most people would see that final play as the one where they lost the game. And that's sometimes true, but actually a lot of the times that's not true. Like, yes, if you didn't make that mistake, the game would keep going and you would have a chance to win. But usually that error or that mistake is not the one that actually gave the opponents the opportunity to do this. Like, there was an opportunity created and then there was an opportunity taken advantage of. You know, like in American football, I blame an error on the goal line, like a play at the 1 yard line, less than the one than like a 30-yard bomb to put them on the 1 yard line. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a little bit of a difference there. If there was a save on the goal line, for example, like, yes, credit the heroic save because that definitely saved the game. But the attempt, even if failed, is not what to blame. Another good example is, like, if you guys watch Rocket League, the 2024 World Championship RLCS between Team BDS and G2 Esports, G2 Atomic, Beast Mode, and Daniel. Very famously in Game 6, Atomic missed the ball towards the very end of Game 6. BDS was up 3-2, and like in the series, and then 2-2 game score in Game 6, and Atomic missed the ball. Drawley scores, BDS go up 3-2 in the game against G2, and they end up winning that game because there's like 9 seconds left when he missed the ball, right? And I saw so many people saying like, oh my god, Atomic choked, Atomic this and that, like, how can you miss the ball there? You're a professional player. Like, he just lost in the series. And I really didn't get that feeling at all. You know, like, yes, he missed the ball and it gave BDS an open net. So they just scored. But it's not like they were in a great position to begin with. Like, Beast Mode and Daniel on the play before that did not do Atomic any favors. He was last back, 0 boost, had to make a difficult touch, couldn't make it. You know, so like, I don't really blame Atomic in that situation because he was not the one who put them in that situation. You know, even if, like, okay, he didn't really play great that whole game, but I mean, just the play before, like, I think it was Beast Mode got completely dusted by Monkey Moon, completely, and the ball goes to the corner where Atomic has to make a difficult read and misses it. And even if he makes a touch, like, there's 2 players right there, and Daniel is out of the play. Beast Mode is still rotating back. It's a really difficult spot, even if he makes that touch, because they're all, I think, like, low boost. I think Daniel maybe just grabbed full boost, and all 3 BDS players got boost. They're ready to attack, and they had just been playing better throughout, like, the last 3 games. So it's really difficult to see G2 winning that series or even, like, winning that game. So to be in that difficult situation, I really don't blame Atomic in that situation. Or like in chess. You know, sometimes you see one final blunder that seals the game. It's like, okay, now the game is over. but it was already a losing position or it was already very, very tough. Like maybe Stockfish, the chess engine, says it is like a 0.9 or like a 1.3 position, plus 1.3 or something like that. Which, if you don't know chess, that is a better position for white, but it's not losing for black. It's not losing. Like in game 6 of the FIDE World Chess Championship 2021, Magnus Carlsen, Jan Nepomniachtchi, there was a long endgame grind. Magnus was white, Jan was black. The final error that sealed the deal was this one queen move in like move 124 or something like that. Move one somewhere in there. But the game was, according to Stockfish, a draw for the longest time. And then all of a sudden he makes one mistake and you're like, oh, how could he make that mistake? And he just lost the game there. But he didn't lose the game there. I mean, like, for a human, that position was losing probably like 50 moves ago. And he played really, really well to defend, but it's so hard to defend that endgame because he had just a queen against Magnus, who had a rook, a knight, and 2 pawns. And Magnus was just very slowly finding a way forward, and he eventually found it. And like, Magnus is the best player in the world. It's not even close, right? So like, to be able to defend for that long, that final move is not the mistake he made, because at some point he's going to make a mistake. You know, at some point he's not going to find the right way, and Magnus is going to win. So really, the mistake probably came somewhere before that to land him in that difficult endgame in the first place, which they had to play out for the next 90 moves or so. And then from that point forward, he had to be perfect, which he wasn't. But you can't blame someone for not being perfect. You know, like his endgame technique, his endgame defense is not the problem here. It was something else that landed him in this difficult position. But not everything's like this. Like, for example, again, back to American football, Super Bowl 49. The Malcolm Butler interception. Sorry to Seahawks fans. But, you know, that play is one of those where, yes, you can technically blame the defense for giving up 14 points to Brady in the fourth quarter. Like, I guess you can say that stuff earlier in the game like that, but really, they played a pretty good game. The Patriots also played great. They had a chance down the line, and like, they really probably should have won the game. But they did everything right, and they just botched the last play. Like, I don't even think it was a bad call, to be honest. Like, everyone says that the calling a pass there was bad, but the clock situation, the Seahawks only had one timeout. It's 2nd and goal at the 1. With the Patriots in goal line and the Seahawks in a lighter personnel package, it didn't make sense to call a run and have to use your timeout if you didn't get in. You know, because like, I've heard Pete Carroll talk about this. He wanted to get all 4 shots in, and it makes complete sense. This is their one chance to pass when the Patriots have bigger, slower guys, and you have lighter, faster guys on the Seahawks on offense. If you have a chance to pass, it is now. And they just didn't hit the play. Malcolm Butler made a great play. So like, this is a little bit more of a situation where like, they literally had it in the bag. And again, like, you could technically blame the defense, but I don't think they really did much wrong. It was kind of just a great game towards the end from the Patriots. And then the Seahawks made a great drive at the end. They called a pass. It made sense philosophically to me, and they didn't hit the play. So yeah, but it's also similar to like the chess game where playing against Brady and the Patriots back then is like, you have to be perfect and you're not gonna be. You know Brady's gonna make a comeback in the fourth quarter. It's happened so many times that you have to be perfect, and you just can't. You know, most teams can't. You can't blame them. But they had a chance at the end of the game, and they didn't hit it. So that's what it comes down to sometimes. You know, but not everything's like that. Not every mistake that you need to blame for a loss is the final one. It's usually somewhere early in the game. All right. Last thing I want to talk about is something I find pretty interesting, which is, why do we abide by the law? You know, like, why do we follow all the laws set upon us? And I get that it, like, sometimes it doesn't feel like we have a choice. But to me, it's like, it's about respect for authority and respect for the society we live in. That and being afraid of consequences. Like we don't want, no one wants to go to jail. Like, why would we go to jail? So being afraid of that consequence of your actions potentially breaking the law is going to stop a lot of people. We don't want to get punished for doing whatever it is. And that fear of the consequence keeps a vast majority of people from committing quote unquote crimes as it is laid out by the law what a crime is. But it's also like respecting the broader society and like the authority that other people have and saying, okay, you know generally what you're talking about, and this is how we should conduct ourselves if we want to live in this society and work together. Therefore, we should probably follow all the laws. So it's also like a respect thing in that aspect too, which is also why you see like when we have such a polarized climate as we do nowadays, people are more and more willing to like push the boundaries of the law, like whichever way you believe in, like left or right, I don't really care. But you've kind of seen that become more and more prevalent now because people have started to lose respect for authority. People have started to lose respect for the people who are making the laws. So it means less to them, and we also have less enforcement, so people aren't as afraid of the consequences. So we have more people willing to break the law. But okay, let's take it down to like something smaller scale than broader civilization, like a school, for example. Like no one, like, okay, the rule is you should do your homework. If you don't do your homework, you're gonna get punished, right? Lower grades, 0 on the paper, whatever. Nobody's forcing you to do your homework. You don't have to do it. Like, but your grades will drop if you don't. Because, and like, again, you're not forced to do it, but if you're going to school, you have a set framework in which that school operates. So how to succeed within that framework is you should probably do your homework so you can get better grades. But you don't have to, no one's forcing you to do your homework. It can feel that way sometimes, like, oh, I have to do it, otherwise, like, because school is such an important part of society. And in that way, you kind of don't have a choice, but you really, but like from a technical standpoint, you don't have to follow that rule. You don't have to do your homework. But if you're in that school and you want to succeed within the framework of how school is laid out and the foundations and the principles, then yes, you need to do your homework so you can get the grades. Because that's the way to succeed and get the highest grades at school, is to do the work that is assigned in school. So it's a little bit of a different mindset, I guess, but like really no one's making you do it, but you have a certain respect for the authority and respect for society, that you have to like follow these rules because school is important and you want to succeed within that framework. Then you have to do your homework. So a little bit interesting of a way to think about it, I think. But yeah, all right, that'll do it for episode 23. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next week. Peace.